There we
Everyone,
go.
hey everyone, happy Sunday. So excited to have you here. Julie Colette with Dropping Jules and my co-host Edwin. We're so excited. I know we haven't done this in a while, so we're so excited to have Whitney Fagan on with us right now. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, 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 yes.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So Whitney, she joined us on a Sunday, taking time out from her schedule to talk to us about grants and incentives. She's all about grants, VP of grants and incentives, been working with Engineer Tax Services. I know Edwin has a full bio on you. He's the one that snoops around and talks about you, Whitney. So I'm gonna have him turn it over to him. I just want to say for today, I have a couple questions for Whitney. It will be more of a question back and forth, and she does have a
Yeah,
presentation if time permits for her to share that. It's going to be basic for today, and we hope to have more of this session to learn more about grants and the free money that we have that we can tap into. So, Edwin, if you don't mind doing further introductions of Whitney, and then we'll get started.
you are one thing certain about this that we haven't done this in quite some time. We've been so busy with our schedule that this is like trying to get things set up, and you're there, and I'm in Fort Myers, so no,
Right.
well now unfortunately, but with my whole system and everything going on, we're just nuking this as we're going, right?
Absolutely.
So back on track. Nice to see you again. And we have the beautiful, the talent, the also smart Whitney Fagan. Whitney, hello, where are you? Is
Hi,
she
how
here?
are you?
There
Can you
she
hear me?
is. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? Edwin, you live in Fort Myers. I live by
No,
you.
no. I live in Miami. I have a property in
Oh,
Fort
I
Myers.
was like, you live by me. I'm sorry.
We're about
Don't
to be
tell him that
BFFs.
he'll show up. Don't tell him that he's going to show up.
I
Hey,
was
I've got a
getting ready
daughter
to
that,
say,
yeah.
oh, I was getting ready to say, oh my God, we live by each other.
I live right. Well, I have a property right there in Lee County. I got a couple of them, but I got one right there in Lee County. So right off of 95, where Starbucks is at,
Oh,
or
cool.
75. So yeah, yeah. How are you?
So I'm new to like the area. I'm like Naples. Like I'm like right the cutoff basically. I
Okay,
just moved here December 21st.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Love it. I
So,
love it. Love it.
yeah.
Wait,
So off for
let me
work.
ask you something. Let me ask you, how did you get into this whole grant thing? How did this all develop with you?
So I went to school in West Virginia when I was like in college, right?
Yeah.
And so I've always been like a writer. I always write, just writing all the time. People used to pay me to write like their stuff for school. That's how it's honestly. And so then I met this teacher. Like I met a professor and I took like these classes. And so they were just like random like writing classes, something to do
Yeah.
because I didn't know anybody. And so I was just writing and then he was like, this is really good. And he's like, most people don't catch on that fast. And so I was like, okay. And so then I was like telling one of my friends' mom, like, I've been taking this class, and she's like, you should do some stuff for my church. So I met with the church, and I was like, it was like a grant writer for the church, but she was like an older lady, and so they were like, well, she hasn't been winning, and I was like, oh, really? And they were like, yeah. So this was literally probably like 10. This is over 10 years ago. I'm old,
Oh,
and so um, I started write. I wrote the grants for them. They won, and so then I wrote another grant, and they won. And
oh
so
wow.
then I was like, "What?" By this, I'm like 22. I'm still a kid. I'm young. I'm a kid, and so I just had a baby. My daughter was like, I had a kid when I was like 21 or 22. So I'm like, hmm. So then they started telling people. That's normally where all of my that's how it started. People were like, "There's this girl." And so they were like, can you write how much? And I'm like, oh, I'll just write it. Nothing. I'm
Hmm.
always just being nice. I didn't really have like a business mindset because that's not what I was in school for. I was in school for like business and HR. And so I wrote for these people. They won. And then they were like just telling people because they were asking like who wrote this. And so I was like, maybe I need to start as a business because I was doing like resumes for people, LinkedIn.
Hmm.
I was
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
updating LinkedIn's. I was doing like pitch decks. I was like just creating stuff for people. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to start writing. So I was writing. And then funny story, I taught myself how to do the nonprofit form, the 1023. And
Really?
Love it. Love it.
because my cousin's like an attorney, and people used to ask me like, do you know how to do this? And I was like, no. But my cousin was like, I'll show you, but I don't have time really. So he was like telling me like the basics, and then I just figured it out. So then I started doing it for people, wasn't charging them, but they were getting approved, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to start charging because
Another
there's no
business.
way. So it's just like I was just doing stuff. And so I got really like busy COVID, right before COVID, I was working. I was like an HR generalist for a company for like 6 years. And then I got laid off. And then I just kept telling my dad, like, maybe I should, I really don't want to go back to work because I was getting like so many clients. I was getting like a ton of clients. And he was like, well, I don't think you should. You're one of my smartest kids. So I'm like, I'm like,
My
if you
dad.
Let's
can
not let you go. You can't go.
yeah, so I'm like, if he's going to basically tell me like quit, I'm gonna listen to my dad. So I was like, So I kept working, working, working. Years passed. I was just still working for myself. I started working for IU Bloomington, and I was doing like their HR stuff.
Mhm.
And there was a company that like purchased them for like the side work. And then I
Right.
was like, no, I'm not working anymore. And then last November, like end of October, I got contacted by UPS. And they were just asking me basically, hey, would you mind? They wanted to interview me. They said, we were looking for a grant writer and we were referred to you by like 6 people. So how does these 6 people know you? And I was like, I don't know. So I flew to West Palm. I met them. And then they were like, can you work for us? And I was like, yes. Yeah, so here I am.
All right. Well,
Wow.
incredible
Whitney,
story. Wow, that's awesome how you got started.
Whitney,
Yeah.
let me ask you something. How many grants? I'm not going to ask your age. I won't ask your age.
I'm
What?
37. 37.
Okay, then there you have it. So, and you started this. How old were you when you started this?
I was like 20, maybe 20,
Okay,
21. Like I started doing it seriously, probably like for money, probably I was like 25.
25. So we can honestly say that 12 years of that has been just this alone. So you know that you're ins and out when it comes to grants and nonprofits and other stuff, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. So if we were to play football, how many rings do you think you made a year? Meaning how meaning how many losses and how many wins do you have in grants?
Um, right now I think I have to tell you because I have a little presentation for you guys, but um right now I think I'm probably like over like 102 million.
Oh my gosh.
So that's
Okay.
Wow,
like
guys,
small business.
that's freaking
That's
incredible.
probably like small business and nonprofit. So it's like a mixture. But yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me just say this. This is the point where I just say, Ed, shut the hell up. Pass the mic over to Whitney, and Whitney, you take it over.
We
The floor
agree.
is yours.
We all agree. I'm
Yep,
just
floor
messing
is
with you.
yours. As
So
a
yeah,
matter of
so
fact, we bow down to you.
Yes.
you're so funny.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Whitney, I'm going to let you share. And guys, if we can hold questions to the end, just let her get through her presentation, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
And
let's keep the presentations for the end, and then we'll come back and we'll ask all the Q&As.
the questions to the
I
end, the
mean,
Q&A right
yes,
now. Yes. What
she
he
just
said
got me.
right first.
She just got me excited with the 122 million. I'm like, okay, no argument there.
All right. Take it away, Whitney.
okay, 1 second. Let me pull my screen in.
Welcome,
Okay.
everyone. Whitney's going to get into her presentation on grants. If you can just hold all questions till the end, that would be amazing.
Yes.
And
Give
thank
me
you all
one.
so much for coming on a Sunday.
On a
On a
Sunday,
Sunday. This presentation, it says it's like grants and nonprofits. It's gonna cover like both because I kind of go like hand in hand. So if I skip past some stuff, just don't mind me. Okay.
my brother Joel is here. Jenny in the house. Hi, Jenny.
Can everybody see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. I don't know why it's not letting me.
Danny in the house. Chris, Sydney, Elsa, welcome, welcome. Fati, my Fati. Gina, Karine, Landro. I think I said
It's not. Oh
Landro.
shoot! Hold on. Sorry, it was like frozen. It wasn't letting me
There
share.
we go.
There we go.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a grants and nonprofit masterclass. I call it a masterclass because I'm going to cover just a lot of stuff with you guys. Like she said, you guys can hold your questions to the end. If there's something that you just probably think you won't remember, I'm not one of those people. So yeah,
Just put it in the chat, guys. We'll
just
get
put
all
it
the
in the
questions
chat
again.
and I'll
Yeah.
respond. But yeah. So my name is Whitney Fagan. I am a grant and nonprofit consultant. So I have a consulting firm, and I've been doing this for a super long time. I've started thousands of nonprofits all over. I write grants. I source grant writers. I write grants right now a lot for like government agencies. So I still write for people, but I have a full team of people. I have a business. It's called Words by Whitney. So I still operate, with my business, but I work for ETS. So right now we're just like in a, partnership. So I help churches. I help CDCs. I help, regular everyday people. Right now I'm working with, I just had a meeting last week. I'm working with like the Hispanic Coalition and a lot of like their small business owners, and it's like a whole big thing. So helping people that want to own businesses or have businesses and they really can't fund them. I help them, find money. That's like the best, right? Free money.
Yes. Free money.
Go ahead.
Free money.
Free money, free money. So yeah, so a lot of people I know are doing like the business funding and the loans and this SBA and all that. I'm not against that, but if we can get something for free, I'm all about free versus spending my own money. So what is a grant? A grant is a financial award from a government foundation, corporation, or individual to support a specific project or initiative. So, unlike loans, grants don't require repayment, which makes them ideal for nonprofits, small businesses, individuals, schools. So, I talk to people that have all kind of businesses, food trucks, a lot of real estate developers, affordable housing, like multifamily, people that do like group homes, people that have like daycares. I mean, anything, barbers. I mean, just regular, businesses. Um, I have a lady that does like she has a church. She works for she's attends a church. She has a food truck with her husband, but then like 2 days a week they just started a nonprofit to help like the homeless. So they feed the homeless for free twice a week off of like this food truck, and it's like a whole big thing. And they're making so much money doing it because you can still make money with a nonprofit, and we'll get into that. But she has like a business, so she's solving a problem, right? And then she's also making money, so it's like super cool. So common myths: grants are free money for everybody. That's not really true. um, you can get free money from grants for sure, but you would have to meet like the basic criteria, right? Depending on the grant. So sometimes they have like the small business grants for like $5,000, $10,000, or like the what is it? Like small grants, like $5,000, $10,000. But then we have some grants where they're like, hey, we need X, Y, and Z. We need financial records. We need this. Um, Super important, just to make sure that when you're applying for grants, you just meet the criteria. Another myth: they only nonprofits qualify. That's not true. So you can be a small business and you can be a nonprofit and you can be a for profit. Really just make sure that you just have what they're asking for, or like don't if they're saying like, hey, only apply for this grant if you do real estate, and then I own like a clothing store and you apply, that you're going to get denied. So just make sure that you qualify for what you're applying for. Um, a lot of people ask me, can AI write your grant proposals? No. It can help you, but it's not going to write it. It's not going to win. If it was, everybody would be writing and winning grants right now. It's like it's like a whole tedious thing. Um, and then another myth is you can apply to a grant and get rich. So you can apply to a grant and it can probably change the way your business is going or your ideas. But it's not like the idea is like you're going to apply for like one grant and get rich. One grant can change your situation for your business. I will say that. But I don't want people to be like, hey, I'm going to get one grant and then that's it. Like, no, that's not how it goes. So, yeah. So, like, that's it for me with that part. Business, what makes a business grant ready? So, a registered business, of course, you want to have an EIN. You want to have a business bank account because you don't want your personal funds to go, your business funds to go into a personal account. You want to have a website for your small business or for your nonprofit. I say that because you have to create visibility. Like, how would I know that Julie is this big website real estate person and she does all this stuff and she wants me to get her grants? I would have to go and I would have to look and say, like, okay, this is what she does. How do people know what you're doing exists, right? So whether it's a restaurant or it's like a mentoring youth service or it's a I have people that do like real estate, like builders. I deal with a lot of real estate developers. They do different stuff. I deal with real estate agents. They make a lot of money for, like, hey, I'm going to teach people about becoming a first time home buyer. So if you become like a first time home buyer, right? And I didn't know what I needed. I didn't know I needed a certain credit score. That's information. You are solving a problem. I have realtors that team up with regular people every 3 or 6 months, and they get grants, like hundreds of thousands of grants a year because they are doing like real estate. So telling you what you need to do to buy a home, what's your credit score need to be. So you're providing a resource. It's free. You're not charging. You might say, hey, we're going to have refreshments. Come learn about buying a house. So you're creating, you're giving education. So a big thing is financial records. I won't really say that qualifies for everybody because you might not have made any money with your business yet, and that's fine. Financial records would be if you're going after like a specific grant, like it could be like a HUD grant or certain things, and they might require for you to have like financial records to some extent. But sometimes if you never don't have any financial records, that's okay. As long as you have the basics, the website, the bank account, the business is registered. And then you understand your audience. Like, what are you trying to do? So if you were to ask me, what would I apply for a grant for right now for myself? I would apply for a grant for probably to be for like marketing money. Okay, I'll give you an example. I have a client. I have a client and they are in Stockbridge, Georgia. So they are in Stockbridge, Georgia, and they have a non-emergency medical transportation company. It's a man and a woman. They're friends. They've been friends for a long time. The woman didn't have a car, but they just operate. She just goes to work every day. They make really good money on their business side, but then their nonprofit side, they're doing like the transportation for the medical transportation. They're just um, the non-emergency medical transportation. So they're job creation, they're doing different stuff like that. So they're like, we need money for marketing. So we found a grant for them and submitted the grant. It was a marketing grant. So they got like $70,000. She bought a Tesla and they wrapped a Tesla as a marketing vehicle. I think they added like $7,000 to the money. They added the $7,000 because they didn't want a car pay. They wanted to like pay the car off. So it's like a whole thing. They're marketing their new business. And so, yeah, so it just needs to be, you need to fit the criteria what they're asking for. They hadn't really made any money on the nonprofit side yet, but they had everything they needed. Right. So there's different types of grants. There's like micro grants that are small grants, like 500 to 10,000. Do I personally do those? No, not necessarily, but I have people on my team. If that's something that you're interested in doing, I can help you with that. Right. So, corporate sponsorship fundings, and those are from companies that support like community impact, community development, funding programs, supporting minority and underserved businesses. So I'm dealing with the client in Detroit right now, and he is building modern real estate. modern like apartments, buildings in Detroit, Michigan. And so basically saying like, hey, these are low income, but that doesn't mean that they can't be nice. And so he's getting a ton of money from the government. And then he even threw in something like saying like, yeah, and we'll help with the water, try to help with like the water issue or help with like resources. And so it's like a whole thing, right? So you kind of just want to always know like what you're focusing on. So if you know, hey, I have a small business and I need money for this, you just want to focus on that because that's going to help you get the most in the grants. If you know you're focusing on like money for marketing, supplies, just regular operation, right? So the key grants characteristics would be they're non-repayable. So unlike loans, don't grants don't require repayment, which makes them the preferred funding source for nonprofits and businesses. So grants are really awarded on specific purposes. So like different things, social education, like I said, housing. So you're solving a problem. So you want to think about what problem are you solving? If you have a daycare, what problem would you be solving? I have some guys. There's two guys. They just started not daycare, a grocery store. A lot of grocery stores were closed during COVID in the area they live in because of financial things. People were stealing, they weren't making money, just different things. They closed like a lot of the Walmart grocery stores. So people don't have access to food. So these two guys, they started this really nice grocery store. And it's like not in like the most common area. And the majority of their money came from like the Goodwill. It came from a big area in Indiana actually. And so it's like a whole grocery store. So they're like surviving food deserts and they got millions of dollars. And it's like a real life grocery store, super nice. Yeah. And so they didn't really have any money. They just had the idea and they had like a lot of connections with people. So it's like a whole thing right now. Then they're trying to build in a grocery store in another area right now in Indiana. They don't have like Instacart. So they don't have, it's not an area where they have like Instacart, grocery delivery, DoorDash. So they're trying to solve a problem because people need groceries. They need to get to the store, and there's no grocery store within like certain limits. Different stuff, right? So the idea is you just always want to make sure that when you think about grants, you're thinking about, hey, if somebody gives me this money, what problem am I solving for myself or for others? You know. So if you're doing real estate and you rent homes and properties, hey, if I give you $100,000, you can fix up the homes that you have to rent. You can make them group homes, or you can make them just homes that you're going to rent. You know, you're solving a problem. People are homeless. So you'll always find money for stuff like that. Competitive grants are awarded through a competitive grant application process, where applicants must submit proposals outlining their project budget and how the grant will be used. So basically, you need to say like, hey, if you guys give me $200,000, I'm going to spend money on this, this, and this. You're just going to tell me like, hey, what this money is going to be spent on. If you're paying yourself, if you're paying your staff, how much will you be paying, and things like that. Grants typically cover a set time period, and funds may be used within the allocated time frame. So, like with me, example, with my current business, I work from home because I just moved here. I don't have an office. I'm a home-based business. So, if you said, Whitney, what do you make? What do you pay a month? Example. So, I'm renting because I moved here so fast, right? So they say, how much is your rent? And I would say, oh, it's like $3,500. There's grants that will give you home-based businesses grant money. So they would say, well, what's your rent for 6 months? And I would say 3,600 times six. And they would consider me a home-based business. They would let me know what they would cover. I'm showing, hey, I'm operating a business. I'm at home. It's a way to show. Different places ask you for different things. It might just ask you, is this a place where people need to come to for the certain services? So I was running like a medical lab or something. I mean, no, not from my house, but certain things you can operate from your house. So then government grants, those are offered by local, state, or federal governments for various purposes like education, healthcare, community development. Foundations often established by wealthy individuals usually provide like grants. So it could be foundation grants, could be anything. It could be something that has something to do with water. It could be doing something to do, like I said, with arts, health, different things. So those typically pay for certain things. If they say, hey, we're only helping the homeless, we're only helping people with cancer that are doing things for cancer research. Corporate grants may offer support for like community development, education, or initiatives related to business interests. So it could be anything. It could be corporate grants, Walmart. If you have a nonprofit, Walmart will give you up to $100,000 a year. Not all at once, but sometimes it just depends based off of where you're selecting them from. Like if your location, you have to be strategic because they open up. I think it's like 3 grant rounds a year. You apply. So if you can apply to like, I think it's like 12 or 14 stores at a time. If you can request $5,000 from each store, yeah, and they pay it. So sometimes they'll pay it within like 7 days, 7 to 10 days after they verify that you have like a nonprofit. They only pay for specific things. So like right now, I have a lot of people submitting for like back to school stuff. They're helping with like book bag drives. Yes, school just let out, but it will be starting back up before you know it. So helping the less fortunate with like school supplies. I have a veterans group. They help a lot of disabled veterans kids. So they're doing stuff for like their kids back to school. Um, yeah, different stuff. So then in August, everybody will start doing stuff for like the holidays, community money, give back money for like Christmas, Thanksgiving, food drives, pantries. Yeah, different stuff. This is just giving example again of source. So local, state, and federal governments. That's all. Grants.gov. So federal grants. So a lot. This is the big thing that I use. I use grants.gov. That's one of my primary searches. And it's super user friendly. And I'll share this presentation with you guys as well. Grants.gov is super user friendly. You would just have to create a access. And you can just search it honestly like you're searching jobs. You can just put in like your location. You can put your small business. You can put that you're a nonprofit. You can just put anything. And it'll tell you like where the grants are. Am I telling you just to go look for some grants? No. But if you just want to look and see like what would be out there for you, you're more than welcome. So types of grants. A lot of people, when I talk to them, they're needing money for operating support. So that would be like the unrestricted grants. This type of grant covers like day-to-day operating costs. So that could be office rent, like I was just saying, utilities, supplies, core support. So basically, hey, I need operating support so I can run my business. So if that's going to be a medical lab, if that's going to be anything that you're doing business wise, if that's going to be, I have people a couple, the wife is a real estate agent and her husband has a construction company. So they're both looking for money just to operate. They just want to do other stuff. Capital grants are usually awarded and given to organizations specifically for like physical improvements and purchases. So these are like big grants. So these could be for buildings, these could be for any different things. So these are for investing in long-term capacity infrastructure. These grants are usually awarded for one-time investments rather than just giving you money for like 6 months at a time. So common use for capital grants would be like building construction or renovations. So grants can fund construction for like new businesses, office spaces, community centers, health clinics, or help you like fix an existing business. So I have a lady that has I think she's in Miami, or no, she's in Orlando. Excuse me, she's in Orlando, and she just bought like this big thing of office suites from somebody. They were moving away out the country, and they just didn't want to deal with it. And she's like, I'm a minority business owner. I'm a woman. I'm this. I'm this. She bought these offices and she's going to turn them into some office suites. Some of them are going to be like salons. So she's like looking for capital grants right now so that she can basically pay to fix them all up. So an example would be if you are a nonprofit, an example would be apply for a capital grant to construct a new building that will house or expand like the programs that you were running. So if you were doing like home care, if you were doing like anything really related to your nonprofit. Hard for me to think. Sorry, right now, off the top of my head about the different ones. Grants may be used to acquire land or building that will be for like long-term purposes. So the idea would be, hey, if we fix this building up, this could become a shelter. A lot of people starting shelters right now because, like I said, there's a lot of homeless people. A lot of people need places to live. So it could be anything. It could be catered to just the public. You know, have the government pay you. It could be reentry, where it could be people coming out of prison and you want to just help. Um, and then buying larger equipments or vehicles. So this could be for like you purchasing like heavy machinery. I have a guy that does like a commercial cleaning company, him and his wife, and they needed like these big industrial floor cleaners, and it was like a whole big thing. So they sent me all these quotes for all this stuff, and that's what we're going after money for them for right now. Um, so then you could even buy like ambulances for a medical nonprofit. You can buy equipment for a community center. You might even buy like refrigerated food trucks to transport food items or upgrade your facility infrastructure. So the idea is, remember, capital and grants are always the long-term investment. They're not for your everyday. So these are going to be for bigger purchases, basically. Um, Large scale projects. So the projects could be funded through the capital grant, but then you would just need other funds to operate. Some people are like, hey, I just need you to help me get this big amount of money, and then I will figure out the rest. Ideally, once you get one grant, it seems like the grants become more consistent. So a corporate grant example would be Verizon. So Verizon is a, excuse me, good resource for like a corporate grant. They they have smaller amounts of grants. So they could be 5,000. Some of them are like 50, 25. It just depends on what they have going on. And it's going to always qualify you based off of like what you're doing. So it could say like small business, or it can say like you can have more than 5 employees, or you can be a solo entrepreneur. It doesn't really require you to have a team. It might just require you, starting out, and that's okay. So sometimes people ask, how long does it take? Not sometimes, all the time. How long does it take? Sometimes with the small business grants, it could take maybe 1 to 3 months. And then sometimes for like the federal grants, depending on where they come from, it could be like 3 to 6 months. It really just depends on where the money is coming from, right? So usually when you submit a grant, they notify you in a few weeks or a few months. So like if you got approved, it'll say like, hey, we approved you for a $60,000 grant. We won't pay it for 90 days. You'll see it before August the 1st. So some people know as long as it's coming, they just pay it based off of how they operate. Some places will pay you in quarters. I have a Lilly Endowment. So I have clients that work with them, and they do like medical carrier, medical transportation. So they take things like hospitals and stuff. Um, I think they said they were applying for a grant, and it was paying like $500,000 over like a 3-year time period. So they have like these check-ins, and I think it's like if you're showing what you're doing, what you need, they're paying you every so many times a year for like 3 years. But if you are not in compliance with the grant, they'll stop paying you. So it's like a whole thing. Sometimes they don't want to they don't trust you. Or they don't, they want to, but they want to make sure that they're meeting the need. They want to make sure that they're paying you. So if I'm saying, hey, I'm going to pay you 500K over 3 years, they're making sure that basically you're able to do what you need to do. So just some small business grants, and I'm going to share some. I'll share like a whole thing with you guys, so we don't have to stay stuck on theirs. These are grants for women founders. There's grants for small business owners with like marketing. There's a lot of money right now that's coming out for SBA, and these are like small business grant loans. And then there are also different opportunities that are coming out and that are going to be beginning for like minority business owners, women business owners, startups, and things like that, which is like super cool. So Yeah, just talking about 501(c)(3)s. And it's tax exempt. It's a tax exempt nonprofit, and it's going to be registered to the IRS. So a lot of people start nonprofits because of the benefits. So if you're big in real estate, all of my real estate people have a 501(c)(3) because they go to like the tax auctions. You can go to the tax sale for real estate. You're not going to pay property tax. You're exempt from property tax. I have some clients, it's a son, a father's son. The dad does like a bunch of real estate, but he's like retired. So he has like a bunch of properties. The son is like a radio host. He works for the radio station. He's like super big in the area. They just bought a dry cleaners for like $7,000, literally $7,000, tax exempt. And it's been for sale for a long time. But it's been for sale and it's been like super expensive. So when it came to the tax sale, he said, "Oh, I'm going to buy this." Now, what are they going to do with it? I'm not sure. They're buying like lands and lots. Sometimes they're saying they can sell you lands or lots for like $1. In New Jersey, that's the thing right now. A lot of people in New Jersey are buying lands, lots in Philadelphia. I mean, really a lot of different places with their 501(c)(3). Some people just use it, like I said, for the benefit um, because it's tax exempt. So you're going to literally be, exempt from taxes. So popular nonprofits that I think of off the top of my head would be like American Red Cross, Boys and Girls Club, different things like that. That doesn't mean that you can't get paid from having these things or helping. It really just depends on what you're doing. The biggest grants right now that are available, real estate is one of the biggest ones, mental health, anything job related, anything creating a job, anything solving a problem. So if you think about for if you were saying you were doing a nonprofit and you want to do like a food bank, if you want to do like an after school program, mentorship is so much money right now in mentorship because people are just kids need resources outside of their parents. You see a lot of kids are doing some crazy things and they just don't really have the guidance. So yeah, different stuff, and I won't stay on this too long. Nonprofits, how are they funded? So you can make money. They do different things. People have membership and service fees. So, example, say this class that tonight. Say they charged a monthly or yearly fee. You can charge for things like that. You can charge still for classes or consulting or training or memberships. You can still make money from services, products, educational programs. The educational programs, what I was just saying, the first time home buyers initiative. I know a lady that does it with her nonprofit, with her friend that does real estate, and they make a ton of money offering these free home buyer classes a few times a year. And she's like, I just provide the space, and her friend just comes and gives a spill. It's like a whole thing. And so, yeah, you can get money from like corporate sponsorships. A lot of people, oh, my friend has this type of business, or I used to work for this company, or my kids do this, do gymnastics at this place. And so, a lot of people want to give back, and they're more likely to give back if they can write it off. A lot of galas, I go to sneaker balls and all kind of events like the cancer walks, different things. Raising awareness, you can make money. Community online campaigns. A lot of my clients, they'll text me their link like, hey, donate to my nonprofit. It's like their website with their donation link, and they collect money all year. So yeah, common types of nonprofits would just be different stuff. So educational institutions, faith-based organizations. Like I said, I've started like CDCs, 501(c)(4). Those are for like political things. Do I do those? Not really, because I really don't get into the politics. I'm always just encouraging people. If you ever think about a nonprofit, think about it. It's always good to have. It's a write off, which gives good credibility. With the person we have in office right now, um, the president that we have in office, it's always good to have it. A lot of the funds that are available right now, they are for specific nonprofits for specific things. So some people are just like, hey, I need money and I want to use this. And it's just more of a So great. He's a businessman, so of course it's a write-off, right? Um, yeah. So you can still receive public and private funding. You're more open to funding, more funding options. So not saying that you can't get grants with your your for-profit, you can, but it's always good to have both. The credibility is always good too, because they'll say, okay, so this person, they did documents to the IRS, they were being serious, they were being intentional. Yeah. Um, and it helps people that want to support the cause that you care about too. So some people, they're just doing, okay, example, multifamily housing, affordable housing. They just operate their businesses. Do they collect and have volunteers? No, they might say like, my kids are helping me, or my mom, or my people that work for me are helping, and it's a way to do that as well. So what are funders going to support for like your nonprofit? They're going to support social services, education, health, arts, youth program. They're going to help with operating support, so program support, helping, and then like basically community-based work. So anything you can think about that's helping in the community. So these are some nonprofits that I did, some approvals. One is in New York, and this was for a lady, Gloria's House, and she did, excuse me, she did a home thing about Gloria's House. Gloria's House is for basically the she's been buying a bunch of property. She literally bought the block that she grew up on. She bought her grandma's old house, and then she just started buying all the rundown houses, and she's like created like a whole block. So she's operating in the nonprofit because she needed money from the city. And the city's been basically giving her a lot of money. Another lady, and this is for a person in Queens. Hers is it's called the Key Path, and she's a real estate agent. She does real estate. She does like a lot of real estate networking events, and it's like a whole thing. But she also helps people, basically like housing that need like housing assistance, and helps people like get back on their feet, or helps educate people on like the home buying process. She makes a lot of money. She makes a lot of connections. She works with like some banks and helps people with, learning, their options. Can you hear me? Oh. How do you pay for yourself with a nonprofit? So you're going to set a salary. You're going to make sure that it's in compliance with the IRS. Salaries can be funded through grants, donations, and income from like the project. So I have a client in Dallas. She's got laid off like a few months ago, but she got her first grant. She's been paying herself biweekly. I think it's like a few thousand, like $2,200, I think she said, biweekly. But she runs her business full time now, her nonprofit. She doesn't have a job, and so it's actually doing well. And that was her first grant. So she got her first grant, and then like a month later, she got laid off.
Oh, jeez.
So super exciting for her that she can actually work and make, she's like, I really want to do this. I just didn't think I had time. But now it's like she was forced into having time, right? She doesn't have a job. So common questions people ask about nonprofits. How do nonprofits make money? So again, a lot of nonprofit people, they buy buildings, they rent space. I know a lot of landlords, a little bit of everywhere, in big cities, small cities, they'll buy buildings, and then they'll say, we only rent to nonprofits. They know the money's going to be guaranteed in some extent. They rent space. I have a lady that rents like her space for like certain events. And then I have people that have daycares, and they make a ton of money. Training workshops. I did a resume workshop for these people one day. I did a grants workshop, and the people were charging. It was online, and they were charging. People were paying though, but they really wanted to learn, and they were sending like their staff membership dues, and you can say, really whatever you want to set it up to do. So this is just more stuff about SBA and nonprofits, affordable housing. So again, just back on the affordable housing thing, nonprofit housing organizations focus on providing safe, affordable housing to low and moderate income individuals and families. And so a lot of people need, um, places to live. They need affordable homes. And they also, like I said, anything with preventing homelessness, offering down payment assistance, things like that. And so, yes, sorry. So this is the same thing. Just how can you get grants quickly? Really won't be quick. It's not. That's not a thing. We don't do. I don't off recommend that. My people are very particular with the wording because someone will say, "You told me it's going to be 2 weeks." No, we can give you like an idea of like how long it'll take after we have all of your information. And if you're really not grant ready, we can help you get grant ready. Yeah. So all kinds of different things. This is a grant I was going to talk to you guys about. This is a research and development workforce grant. So I have a client that she just purchased a ton of iPads for like her team. She does like home health care, hospice at home. She's a nurse, and she's like home health. But the people work off their iPads. They clock in and out. They make their notes. They do their charting and everything. So she's like, I need some upgrades. She really didn't, but she got like a ton of money from like Apple, right? And like, and she
Love it.
just bought all these iPads. It was like a whole thing.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, so I don't want to bore y'all with that, but yeah, small business grants. You can get them for anything. You can get them for tech industries. I have people that are trying to like develop apps, or they have like the basis of the app, but it needs a little bit of money, so they need a little bit of love. They need, grant money to secure that. Um, a lot of people do real estate grants because they want to buy, build, or renovate property, and they don't want to use like loans. They don't have, or they don't want to pay those back. So a lot of people do, like I said, childcare clinics, just buildings, group homes. Group homes is like the really big thing right now. I know a few people. I know a client that has like a bunch of properties that he couldn't really rent. And he's like, listen, he has homes in like Colorado. He has homes that are in New Jersey. And he lives in Colorado. And he's like, listen, these people do not want to pay their rent. And he just set this thing up. And now the government is paying him for like to house like these people, different types of people. And they usually have like 90 days. It just depends. But if they break the rules or whatever the rules are set in the home, they have to leave. Basically, you're giving them somewhere to stay. So you're solving a problem. It's temporary, and you can expand it based off of how you would like or how long the government wants to pay wherever you are. I have a friend. His name is Mr. Group Home on Instagram, and he literally helps everybody set these group homes up all the time. And it's like a whole thing. He also does like charity gaming under his nonprofit, and he makes $100,000 a month with a bingo hall. He's in Cleveland, Ohio, and with a nonprofit, he does charity gaming. So yeah, people do like bingo, and I'm like, that is so crazy. People don't play about their
Incredible.
people don't play about their bingo. Like I
Know,
was like
right?
$100,000. I'm like, are you kidding? He's like, no. And so he was showing me, and I was just like, wow. And yeah, it's just a way that you would set the nonprofit up, but it's just specifically for charity gaming. And he also does, like I said, the group homes, but he houses different people. So it could be veterans, it could just be homeless people, it could be people coming out of prison, or anything. I know one of his houses right now, it was like a special thing. They're working in the homes.
Mhm.
And it's like for children that were, excuse me, deported. Their parents were like deported or situations like that. He has like homes right now. The government's paying him to house these kids. It's like
Mm.
super, it's like sad, but he's helping. And, they're trying to like bring the kids back to some sense of normalcy. They have like a therapist coming. They're still going to school. So it's like a whole thing. Solving a problem. Um, yeah, so a lot of these grants would help for like housing because they don't really raise the rent on the nonprofit stuff.
Mhm.
And then it helps you be able to spend money on other things, right? So yeah, so some of the grants that you can find, real estate grants would be HUD, um, local and state affordable housing, and then USDA, they have grants all the time. Yeah, so a lot of times people ask me like, "Do you need a business plan?" No, not necessarily, but you would sometimes need to show, what you're going to be doing. If you're going to be doing like some building, or if you're going to be doing things with like some partnerships with some people, you would just need to be able to show certain things. And this is my website, but I'm not going to give you that. I think Julie's going to share with you guys like some contact information. This is if you guys want to just follow me on like social media. And then, yeah, so these are some grants that I've won this year so far. So, and I did some STEM grants, some STEM, and I've done some housing and development for disabled veterans. Yeah,
Yes. Thank you. All the vets. I love it. I love it.
yeah.
Wow, this is incredible, Whitney. Thank you. Guys, give her some love in the chat or send us some hearts or something.
Sorry, guys. I was just talking. I feel like I was just chatting.
No,
No,
no.
no, no,
This
no.
is, dude, you're just blown. Our minds are blown. Like, this is so incredible. We want you back.
No,
Do you guys want her to come back? Put a one in the
oh,
chat if you want her to come back. I don't know when, but we have to figure out my time. Oh my
no,
God.
she's not coming back. I'm keeping her to myself.
You're not
Hmm.
keeping her to yourself. We
We
already
live in
know.
Fort Myers.
Doesn't
As of
matter.
right now, I just moved to Fort Myers, so
Yeah.
I'm keeping it to myself.
That's awesome. No, no. The reason why we do these Zooms, guys, is to share the love and
Yeah,
just know that there's funding out there and Whitney is your girl. Like she will get you taken care of. So we are super pumped. Information on a one pager, how to reach out to her would be amazing. If you can give her some love. Um, take a picture of this, post it, tag us so more people can get more grants because we need to use this up. But what questions? Let's open it up to questions. Raise your hand if you have a question. The recovery suite. Okay, great. If you want to, that's great that you gotten grants. It's great. Ellie, yes.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to pull to the bottom. Are they
Uh,
coming off? Are they going to come off mute, or do you guys just want to call on them? You
yeah, I'll
can.
call on them and Edwin and I. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ellie.
Hey, how are you? Good
hey
afternoon. Thank you.
Ellie,
Hey, how are you?
what's going on?
Doing good here. Thank you so much, Whitney. Which are the requirements to apply? I mean, what do you need in order to apply to these kind of grants?
It really just depends on like what you're trying to do. So Julie put a link in the um Julie put a link in the chat. I would click on that if I were you and fill it out, right? And then someone on my team tomorrow, literally probably they'll just say like, "Hey, you're qualified," or you're not. You probably just need to have certain things. So making sure that you have like your website. If you don't have a website for your business or something like that, we do have somebody that we can recommend you to too, and they do them pretty quick based off of what you need. But yeah, the biggest thing would be making sure that your business is registered, making sure that you have like the business bank account. Um, and if you don't, like I talked to a lady yesterday morning, and she said, "I'm starting my account on Monday." So before you start applying for the grants, you want to make sure that you have the account. You can't put any money in Elizabeth's account. It needs to be in your business
Yes.
account, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We know we have all that established, but is there a specific, I mean, you have to, I mean, request a grant, for example, for a mission to say, I will buy a house for this and this purpose. I mean, and it should be something helping the community, or could be, I want to buy houses because I have 10 houses for next year. So they will ask you, what do you need the money for?
Yeah, so like so on that link, it's gonna say you can, and if it's more than one thing, you can select anything. Before we start looking for your grants, we'll say, hey, do you need money for real estate? I mean, do you need money for a building? Do you need money for payroll? Do you need money for anything?
Oh,
It gives you the opportunity. So you
okay.
literally just check what you need the money for, honestly. But we don't start just looking. We don't base off of what you send us, because I might select one thing, but I need money for whatever you're going to get me some money for.
that's right.
Right. So like you might find 50,000 one place, you might find 30,000 another place. But ideally you're gonna say, like, I need marketing money, someone that's gonna do my websites every day. You need money for like your insurance. I mean, you could need money for anything. Supplies. If you're hiring like consulting companies. I have a lady that just did a thing for like contractors to pay like her contractors for like the real estate. And I was like, contractors make a lot of money. I need a new job. And so she was like getting all this money for like these contractors. They were like fixing like the sidewalk in this property. And it was like a whole thing. You just need to know what you want to get the money for, but we can find money pretty much anywhere.
Great. And you have to prove back to them what you asked the money for.
Correct.
They will ask.
Now, yes. So I will say this, and this is just me being transparent. So there's some grants you can find, and they're not going to ask you like, "Hey, what did you do with every single penny of the money?" And I'm not saying that. I'm a realist, so I'm telling you the real. Now, if you're like super, you're going to find some grants where you're like, "Okay, you better do everything you said with every penny." Then yeah. But there's sometimes where you can find grants and you're like just basic startup, but a lot of people try to get grants to just pay themselves. And then once you pay yourself, whatever you did with the money, that's your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a couple, I have a married couple. The husband said, my wife has me set up on the payroll, but I don't know what she does with my piece of the money. I was like, oh. So I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get married. I need to do that.
Yeah. What's mine is mine, what's yours is mine, right? That's how it works.
Great.
I'm
Great.
serious.
Thank you so much, Whitney.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Keep learning. Thank you so much.
No
Thank you.
problem.
I can lower my hand.
Fatima?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Tati.
Hi, friends. Long time, huh?
Yeah.
Hi, love. Whitney, thank you so much for the presentation. I have a quick question. You mentioned about a small business be able to get grants and also nonprofit. I've heard about, we're getting ready to start a nonprofit, and I got some information about that we need to be operating for a while to be able to get grants to receive grants as a nonprofit. What is the best way to get funds when you just start a nonprofit, brand new nonprofit?
You can get them through grants. That's not always true. You can. There are some of them that will say in the fine print, like, hey, they need to be 2 years old. Then I would say, like, apply for that grant. But there's a lot of people that give out grants for new nonprofits. Like I said, you might find 10,000 one place, 20,000 another. Now I'll just say, like, you're going to get $1 million on your first one. Not that always might not be the case, but you never really know. Like I said, the problem that you're solving, like what you're doing. I have a company that we're working for right now, and they have like they're doing like they're like a warehouse, and they have like, they just started. It's like a whole job creation thing, but it's a nonprofit. And I was like, and we found them a lot of opportunities. It's small. They have like 12 people working for them. But that doesn't mean anything. Like I said, it just really depends on where you are, where you're servicing. It's
Okay.
based off of a lot of things. A lot of grants are based off of like points. So you might find some points for like anything, honestly. I
Awesome.
wouldn't say, I don't like people say like, you're not going to get anything. No. Now your
Right.
first grant's not going to be $1 million, but you'll get something. And then once you get one, I tell people it like opens you up for so many opportunities. Like one of the questions on there is like, have you ever received a grant before? Most people say yes or no. And if you haven't, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that you won't be able to receive any money. No.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Whitney, now that you said that, let me ask you this question. There are thousands of nonprofits competing out there for quote unquote the same funding, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what separates some of these organizations receiving any type of figure for grants from the ones that never get funded?
Let me answer this. Let me answer this. Whitney,
Oh,
that's what separates.
So a lot of it, but really, look, I love you, but really the thing that I think is like everybody. I tell people like think outside the box. So I was just asking this guy, I'm like, so what are you doing with your small business? And he's like, oh, I just do real estate, but I help. I help. He's a flipper. He flips homes in Georgia. And so he's like, I do this, I do that. But he teaches people. So I'm like, they pay you. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, you make a lot of money doing that. And he's like, yeah. But I'm telling him, like, sorry if you guys hear my dog snoring. Please stop it. So if you it's like what sets you apart is gonna just be like what you're doing. So you gotta think outside the box. Like, yes, I'm gonna do real estate development, real estate education. Um, you always want to be open. So I talked to this lady the other day and she's got a cleaning company. She's been getting like so many cleaning contracts. But when I talked to her a few months ago, she's like, nobody's booking me. So now she's like, I need money because I need more equipment. I need a vehicle. I mean, you would just have to think like, hey, if I said, I'm going to give you some money, what are you going to do with it? You're going to tell me, I'm going to do this, this, and this. You just have to have like a plan. But if I said, well, what about this? You don't want to just always be like, you're going to focus on your focus. But if you have to like move it a little bit, you do that. I like clients that are flexible, but they're fundable, meaning like you can say whatever, just give me some money.
so I guess where I was going with that question was, are we looking to get funded so we can continue to get funded as we scale? Or are we looking to get funded just to fund and get something up and going, and that's all there is to it, right? So, for
No,
example,
sorry.
no, you're fine. I guess where I was going with that was, I need 30,000 to open up I don't know, a group home, right? FYI. Um, so I get 30,000, great. I open it up and I just kind of scale that. Or are we looking to get multiple grants after we scale the first one and say, hey, here's the first one, here's a website, here's whatever requirements are, and continue to get funded in order to continue to scale and leverage that.
Yeah, so you want to continue to scale. That's the goal, right?
Right.
It's just grants pay out in different cycles. So what you're looking for right now might not be available. There's this lady I was just talking to. I was showing her when you start with us, we provide you with like grants, right? So it could be we search, we send you something and you say, hey, I want to do this. I really don't care about this. So that's the plan. The plan is to scale, it's to keep growing. It's not like we're gonna be stuck on one particular thing. And what you're looking for money for might not be available like today, but it might be something that's coming up open August the 1st. So I might say, well, Edwin said he needs something today. Okay, well, let me see. I found Edwin like 40K, but then if he really needs like this big money, we're going to apply for this grant and see what we get. And then in August, we're going to go after, the bigger grant.
The
If
bigger
it's saying
grant.
you're not ready, we can help you get ready. Sometimes you might not be there. You might not be ready to apply for the $1 million grant. I'll be like, Edwin, one thing about me is I'm really open with my clients. So I'll be like, there's these two guys that I talk to. They do like biopharma, and they're like way smarter than me, I think. But I was like, listen, you guys are like all over the place. Because when I talk to them separately, the doctor, he wants everything, and then his like partner, he's like, well, and I'm like, listen, what do you need money? If I got you this money, what would you do? So it's like they really couldn't tell me. That's like the biggest thing, knowing like, hey, if you give me $100,000 or this, I can do this. I hate talking to people and I'm like, what do you need money for? And you're like, I don't know. I'm like, that's the worst question. That's the worst thing to say. You don't know, you don't know how much money you need, and you don't know what it's for. Like that's the biggest thing. You want to know what it's for. You want to know how much.
Right, right. Okay, cool. Love it. Thank you. Guys, she's here. Get her while she's hot.
We can take one more question. We'll take Joel and then we're gonna wrap. Joel.
Yes, one question. You mentioned about the grants for veterans that they could keep on going. But once you get the first grants of veterans, does this become like a government contract that you will keep getting paid and not just a one-time grant?
You can do that. We look for both. We look for like RFPs. We look for all kind of stuff. So there's opportunities where, okay, example, my uncle is in Indiana. He is a veteran and he gets on my nerves. He gets on my nerves. So him and his friend, they're both veterans. My uncle worked for the VA. He retired. He came back. He worked for the VA. He drives like their shuttle bus part time. He started a nonprofit like COVID, and they just purchased a big built an old like college in Indiana, basically. So he's gonna house homeless veterans, right? The upside of that is best friend. He does something with the opioid crisis or something like that with veterans. So
Mhm.
they like team together and they're gonna like house all these people. They're gonna have like mental health. So like apartments. So the people are
Right.
gonna have somewhere to live. The government's gonna pay for 44 units for these people, right? Until they get like their disability or they have certain things going on. They're gonna have like mental health. Even if nobody comes to the mental health things, they're still gonna get paid. That's like a government. That's a government thing. It's a resource. If you're providing the resource, now if they're not utilizing it, that's on them, right?
Right.
So yeah, so you can get stuff set up to get like monthly, different stuff. Of course, the idea is to get monthly. Like, so I teach people how to make money with their nonprofit while they're asleep. So like donations. So I have a guy that does like credit repair. He teaches people how to get credit funding. You know, everybody does that.
Yes.
But the kicker is he does financial literacy. People don't know what their credit is supposed to
Interesting.
be. They don't know how to save money or manage money. And so they're getting like a ton of money for that financial literacy, teaching people how to manage their money. So like you could even get money for that. I have a guy that goes to a school every Wednesday for an hour and he's getting paid monthly by these people. So you could set it up different ways. It really just depends on what you want to do or what you have like the time and the support, you know?
Sure.
Right. You will also help with certification, right, to do the government contract?
Yeah, we help you with that too. We can help you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes. And so I think I seen that Julie said no more questions, but if anybody else has any more questions, I can answer really quick. Look, it's me going against the grain.
It's
Uh,
Whitney. I love her.
it's Whitney.
You
But
gotta love it. You gotta love
yeah,
it.
so and we do have a thing with like we do start nonprofits. So I think she put like
I
the
put the
nonprofit.
grants. I put the grants, and I think I did put the nonprofit. I put both links, guys.
Yeah.
So you have it
So
there.
we have a thing. So with Julie, it's a thing that she put her contact. If you want, if you guys have it where you guys want to start a nonprofit, for the month of June, there's the pricing is on there. It's probably a little bit higher, but we would honor it because we have a special. So I don't know if you guys follow me on social media, which I hope you do. We have a special for the month. I think it's like 12.50. They're normally like 2,000. So the link I don't think is reflecting that right now, but if anybody's interested in starting a nonprofit, just make sure you reach out and I can help you. We're just honoring that for like the month. It was supposed to be like a special we did like last month, but yeah. So we deal with a lot of people. We do like a little bit of everything, grants and all kind of stuff, cost seg. But yeah, I don't talk about that. I just talk about what I do.
Yeah.
Love
And
it.
guys, just when you reach out to her, just say you were on the Zoom, so she gives you the discount for the.
Yeah, so
That's
that's
really
what I'm gonna say.
awesome. That's really awesome. The 12.50 to start your
Yeah,
nonprofit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Marjorie has a question. I think
hi,
I figured
Marjorie.
out. Hi, Marjorie.
Sorry, you kind of just answered it because I started with a 508, but then I created a 501 out of California. But do you help with the tax exemption part? Because the application for Florida is very tricky and
Yeah, we do. So we do all of that. We do all of that. So we do like the 508. We will file the nonprofit forms for you. That's what the 1250 includes. So it's going to be like the prep. So you can do the long form or the short form. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but um, you can you can do the long or the short form, and then we'll do it for you. The only thing it doesn't include is the filing fees. So it's going to probably be like a few $100s for the filing, but that's it. We do everything. It's like a 7-day turnaround.
Okay.
So yeah, as far as the grants is a little bit more like a hands-on process. It's just based off everybody's case by case. It's honestly just based off of based off of what your business has going on. If you have multiple businesses, you're free to fill it out more than once.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the thing too. I have business and the nonprofit, and because I get so many uh people ask me, "Oh, why don't you just use the homes for that you use for your nonprofit for that you're building and flipping on your real estate side?" And that's why I created it, but I couldn't do it under the 508. So,
Yeah, so the 501(c)(3) is going to be your best bet, and I'm just going to tell you that because not just because I create them, but because you're going to get more money. Like I said, I don't talk politics. I didn't even vote. But I will say it's more of a write-off right now, and that's what people are wanting. I deal with a lot of athletes. I deal with a lot of managers, and they're like, "Hey, I have an athlete, and they want to donate, but they want to make sure that they're don't. Can you tell me if this is active nonprofit?" And then they start their own. So it could be anything, honestly.
all right. Thank you so much. I filled it out already.
No problem.
wow. Oh my God. Whitney, when can we have another call? We need to have a follow-up.
Just send me your schedule.
I know,
I have to
it's
teach
my
that.
schedule.
Yes, I have to teach. I teach randomly because I'm like so busy. So I was
I
like,
know.
when
We'll
you
figure
asked me, I'm like, fine.
I
But
know, guys. I had to twist her arm, all kind of stuff to get her on tonight, but we're so thankful. So give her some love, Whitney. You're the best. Thank you so much, guys. This
Yeah.
is great. This is love you, and
no problem.
incredible.
Anytime. And so, like I said, it would be great if you guys fill out the link. Like I said, if you're interested, just fill out the link. If you have multiple businesses, fill it out. Feel free to share the link with your friends and people that you know that are looking. We will. I'll if you know anybody else that's looking, that we are honoring that special for everyone, not just the group, because it's something that we've been promoting. Like
Yeah,
they're
just
promoting it all
it's
over,
just
like the engineer's website and everything. So our
it's a
engineers are
huge
promoting.
discount. Huge
Yeah, it's
discount.
super discount because I think he says it's like 19.95. It's like something crazy. So yeah. So if you guys have questions, let me know. Follow me on Instagram. I'll follow you back.
Yes. Thank you all. Have a good
Edwin,
night.
I'm sure
Whitney,
you're
thank
gonna
you for
schedule. Edwin, I'm sure you're gonna schedule a call with me. So I'll be waiting.
we will get on the call together, I promise.
Yes, he will. Thank you so much,
Guys,
everyone, for joining.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you, Whitney. Thank you, Julie.
No
You're
good
welcome.
night,
problem.
everybody.
Good
Thank you so
night.
much. Thank you.
Bye.
See
Have a
ya.
good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.